Alright guys, what's up? This is Mike, and it has been a year since the two consoles came out. Today is November 22nd, so this is the 1 year anniversary of the Xbox One. A week ago, it was the 1 year anniversary of the PlayStation 4. So what I wanted to talk about is the vision for the consoles last year versus the vision for the consoles today. And the vision for the PS4 was that it was going to be for the core gamer, and that the Xbox One was going to be an all-in-one entertainment device for dude bros. Well, times have changed, and what has happened is Sony, I don't think, has a vision right now because Sony can't afford one. So they're kind of just doing the 360 thing where um, we'll just rely on our multiplats because they're better. And we're not going to worry too much about exclusives other than indie games because, well, um, we can't really afford we can't afford a vision right now. Sony can't afford a vision. Whereas Microsoft, since Phil Spencer took over, the vision of the Xbox One now is much like the PlayStation 4 was at launch. The gaming console. This is where you're going to have a bunch of exclusive games. And I really have to give Phil Spencer credit for I think he's doing a really good job cleaning up the mess Don Matrick made, and people are starting to come around because of it. I mean, Sunset Overdrive, great reviews, um, you know, um, and even though the Xbox One, you have to wait longer than you do for PlayStation 4 when it comes to installing a game and updating a game, and even though you still have to wait for updates in Xbox One, they did work a way around the initial installation process where you can start playing before the installation is complete, which is a good thing because some of these updates are huge. So that's a good thing. I feel like they're doing their best to work their way around um, the matricness of the system. And I really worry about Sony because Sony was the PlayStation 3 was the console for mature adult gamers, single player gamers. And right now, Sony is at a standstill, and they don't know what to do. They can't afford to do anything really. I know somebody from Sony came out and said that they want to appeal to casuals, which I think is a big mistake. You know, you don't want to go the route of the Wii. You don't want to go the route of the later 360. Um, you may have good multi-plats and good sales, but if with Phil Spencer at the helm at Xbox, you know he's done a really impressive job catching up in terms of the quality of the system, making it better than it was initially. And so yeah, right now I think Xbox has had a better first year in terms of exclusives and vision, even though the PlayStation 4 has had a much better year in sales because of their better multi-plats. So again, it's looking like the Xbox One is becoming the PS3, and it's learning from its mistakes a lot quicker than the PS3 did. And the PS4 is looking a lot more like the 360, better multiplats, but not as many exclusives. Um, so we'll see what happens. There are exclusives coming out, obviously. You know, next year we have the Order's coming out, and Bloodborne, and who knows when Uncharted 4 is going to come out, if it does at all, if they can even afford to do that at this point. Um, but we'll see. PlayStation 4, at least it's selling well, but who knows? With Sony not doing good financially. So that's the thing. The visions have Microsoft has a clear vision. It's changed completely from its initial vision, but the vision that Microsoft has now is much better. And Sony needs to get vision because the hype machine can only go the initial launch hype can only go so far before they need to get a vision and go with it. That's the vision. That's where I think the consoles stand today in terms of visions for the systems for the companies and things like that. And you know, it's amazing how much has things have changed in a year, and things could change completely around next year. You know, these console generations are becoming more and more unpredictable. You know, we can't just look at previous generations and assume things based on what happened years ago. Normally, you can look at previous generations and make assumptions and guess correctly. Like, if one system sells better than the other, then it's going to win the entire generation. That's what usually happens, and that still happened last time. But now, with Sony's financial situation versus Don Matrick's mistakes, and not to mention the bugs. I still need to do a video about the bugs. I mean to do that. I will do a video about the bugs. Um, with all that's going on, and not to mention the consoles being underpowered. So who knows what's going to happen with this generation? It'll be really interesting to see. It's been a very unusual generation already, in a lot of ways, and well, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. It's still too early in the life cycle to know for sure what will happen to either system. If Sony's going to make it, because it's very possible Sony could end up dropping out, and the PS4 could be like the Dreamcast, and there could be somebody else coming in to replace them as competition for Microsoft. That's a possibility. I don't think it's likely going to happen, but it could. It could, but I don't think it will. Um, and and as for my personal experience, all I have to say is, for me, both consoles have been okay. It's the first year, and of course, first years are usually dry and not very interesting. It's usually not till the second year of a console's life cycle we start to really see them take off. Um, so hopefully next year, if things don't take off by next year for either system, then I'd be worried. But this is just the first year. The first year is usually the most boring, and you know, there hasn't really. And I looked at the nominees for the Game Awards, and I could tell that this has been a lackluster year for games, and yeah, but I enjoyed my systems. I had decent fun with them. I've been enjoying Grand Theft Auto 5 a lot more, and it with first person mode now. Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, systems are okay so far. Um, I also think Microsoft did a really good job with the updates, the monthly updates. They keep listening to people and they keep adding more and more stuff, and so I like that. Um, Sony hasn't really done a whole lot of updates other than stability ones. They did have 2.0, which caused some problems, and then they patched it up twice. I'm just babbling on here, man. But yeah, I think all I really wanted to talk about was the vision for the systems and how the visions have changed for both of them. You know, Microsoft has gone from entertainment device to a gaming console, and Sony has gone from a gaming console to I don't know what we're doing. So yeah, this has been very lackluster yet interesting first year, but it's a first year, so yeah. In fact, the games that I've been most excited about are this year were ports of last gen games I got last year. Those are the games that I've been the most excited for this year. GTA 5, The Last of Us, Tomb Raider really surprised me by how good it was, and yeah. So I'm just babbling on here. I need to stop. That's all I got to say for right now. It's just my thoughts on your one happy birthday to both the Xbox One and the PS4. If you're and honestly, if you're going to upgrade, if you want to get an Xbox One right now, it's going to be cheaper. It's like $349 now for an Xbox One. I don't know what Sony's doing, but $349 for an Xbox One is a really good deal. So that's another thing that Microsoft is we're pushing hard right now, and I think they're doing an impressive job at that. And I think people are going to respond. But what I recommend, I would say, go ahead and get them if you can. but don't get rid of your older consoles just yet. You know, we don't have a there's not enough of an install base or games yet, but I think that's going to change next year. At least I hope it does. But so that would be my advice. If you can get them, get them. But if you have to trade in your old consoles to do it, don't, because you're going to be missing a lot of older games. Yes, a lot of games were reissued, but there are still plenty of games that I love that I cannot play on my new systems, like The Elder Scrolls and BioShock. Those series, they're still only last gen. So that's all I got to say for right now, and I'll talk to you guys later.